Hey, you guys. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, I'm Ella Majors with Sexy Fit Vegan and the Plant Empowered Coaching Program. And I have with us today, Jill. And Jill is, you've got like maybe a month left?
That's like about right.
Yeah. So Jill is in it. And this is your third, is it your third time coming on? Second time. Coming on, and you were, I think, the very first program member, kind of courageous enough and ready enough to actually come on while you're still going through the program, which is just so freaking cool. And I am so grateful to you for being willing to do that, because I know it can be nerve-wracking. I mean, I know we've got this great group, but what do people say about next to death? I think public speaking is like the next thing that people are most afraid of in their lives. So thank you, Jill. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is my pleasure. And I love that you're about to share a very powerful story. So we are talking today about how to manifest, or how to own your worth and manifest the life of your dreams. And that is what Jill is in the middle of doing. So we are going to talk today. We're going to kind of talk about her story. I want her to share kind of some tough circumstances that she's been through. And what we do when we have circumstances, right? There's the facts about just what happened in our lives. And then there's what we do with those facts, how we internalize them, and the story that we create based on what is going on in our world. And that is what we call our programming. And most of us have been programmed since a very young age. So what we do in our Plant Empowered Coaching Program is work to reprogram the programs that aren't serving us. And one of the big issues that most of us are dealing with, I think everybody, to be honest with you, that has gone through the program or is going through the program, is shame. And the root of shame is not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough. So with that being said, as our little intro, I'm going to kind of let you take it away, and I will kind of interject as we go, Jill. But could you start out by talking about kind of your programming and the circumstances from when you were a child that led to you making up that story that you're not worthy?
Absolutely. So the programming that I learned very early on was to stomp my emotions down, to be the good child, to almost become invisible so that I wasn't causing any additional stress within my family. And I figured that out pretty early. I mean, very, very young, probably even at the age of 5 as a kindergartner, because my home life was very toxic. I had an alcoholic mother that would just disappear for a little while. We didn't know where she would go. And the focus was all on this sick person. Trying to find her, get her healed up. She'd go back out. You know, it was kind of like rinse and repeat. Here we go again with this cycle. And it impacted my whole family, and certainly my other parent, my father. And there was one point in which he told me, if you would just be a better child, your mother would stop drinking. Mm-hmm. So I really worked really hard at that, which did not allow me to flourish, follow my dreams. I wasn't told you're beautiful, you're smart, you're capable. I was pretty invisible. And so I learned early on to stomp out any desires, any dreams, and I really did not think that any of that was for me. I thought it was for others, but I never, ever felt worthy of anything positive in my life. I was just in survival mode, basically.
So what happened when you moved out of the house? And how long did it take you to, was it in the program that you really started to go back and Because you seem so clear about that now. Okay, my sense of not being worthy and not being good enough, and that it was my fault. Were those things you had already explored to a large degree before working through the program?
Partially, yes, but I still didn't feel worthy. Now, as an adult, I was smart enough to get out of that situation and find a wonderful, loving human being that would love me, that's super healthy. We have a great relationship. That was such a blessing, because I could have because I'd hit a lot of toxic relationships along the way, just looking for love because I wasn't getting it at home. But once I got removed from that situation, I knew that I was in a healthier one, but I had so many unresolved issues that I didn't deal with until I entered the Plant Empowered Coaching Program, really. Okay. There was heaviness in there that I am now becoming free from.
And how else would you say the lack of self-love and self-worth affected your life leading up to your time in the program? What effect did it have on everything in your life?
Well, I entered jobs just to take jobs that were really not focusing on my strengths and on Jill as a human being, because again, people that are in jobs that provide fulfillment, that's their life purpose, they're worthy of that. I wasn't. I had to just accept whatever life gave to me. I also accepted unhealthy female friendships all the time. And I put their needs before mine, because again, they're more important than Jill, because I learned that at 5 years old, living in that alcoholic home. But this program taught me, first of all, who is Jill? It taught me to get in touch with who am I? What are my values? And then each module had so many things in it, as it was like, it's been a process. It wasn't any one thing. It's been the whole program. Self-care. Oh my goodness. I have to love Jill and take care of Jill and do self-care. I have to set healthy boundaries, new concept. And I have to forgive myself and forgive others. So it was just, it's been able to kind of like, it's been healing in that it's clearing out all that baggage so that I could now move towards living my best life and finally acknowledging and moving in the direction of my life's purpose. It's just huge.
Right. Yes. No, it sounds like a breath of fresh air. Like I want to take a deep breath when you say that.
Yes.
And it's interesting because, I think the difference between coaching and therapy, and a lot of people that come into the program, some people have been in therapy for decades. And there's a lot of focus in a lot of types of therapy. There's a lot of focus on those events and putting ourselves back in that place and what happened and explore and why, and let's just keep ourselves there. Whereas in the coaching and what we do in the program is we acknowledge that, but we also acknowledge that that was a story that we created about how what we took from that situation. So once we know that, then we try to leave that in the past and focus on the tools for reprogramming instead of putting ourselves back there. It's like, okay, what do we need to do now? And how do I need to, and we do that, we have many tools to do that, right? Like the self-empowerment coaching system is a starting place. Are there any specific tools that, because I know like you said, it's a process, and we cover, it would be impossible for us to even talk about everything that we cover in the program, and it's all important. But are there any tools in particular that stand out as being extra helpful in having you make these massive shifts that you've been able to make in a very short period of time?
Yes, my past is not who I am. Yes, that happened to me. But now, how can I look at that differently and create a new story? I didn't know I could create a new story. And this program taught me that I can create a new story and that I'm strong from all of that. And it's okay to now acknowledge Jill for who she is and to love Jill, because the love starts with us giving ourselves love. I feel like that self-love has been the biggest turning point for me, because the way I treat myself now puts that out into the world and I'm getting it back. But it also is now allowing me to be freer to love others. You can't love others. It starts, until you start really, really deeply loving yourself and accepting yourself and forgiving yourself.
Just no small task.
No, but it's been worth it.
Yes.
I mean, I took a risk when I signed on to this program. I was in fear of doing it, but my fear was greater if I didn't do it, because I knew I wanted what you have. That desire was bigger than the fear.
Yeah, and I think that's very similar for a lot of people, because it's scary to take a huge step like joining the Plant Power coaching program, because nobody sugarcoats the fact that this is no magic pill, that you have to put in the work.
Yes.
And part of that work is learning the tools and going through the trainings and the modules and all of that. But that's only part of the work. Because if it was as easy as just going through some training or listening to podcasts or reading books, we'd all be in a fantastic place in our lives, right? But it's not just about having the knowledge, it's the sharing.
Yes.
It's the group that we have.
Oh, yes. The support
Can you talk about the group that we have and how the role that's played for you?
I think going through the trainings is one thing, putting it into practice is another, but having that tribe of people that love and support you unconditionally in an extremely safe environment has been huge for me. There isn't any judging, it's just love, because we can all relate in some ways to the different stories and experiences that our group is sharing. And I've really grown to love people across the country that I haven't actually ever met in person. But I really have a genuine love for them, and I feel the love coming back from them. I feel like that support system is so pivotal that without it, the experience would have been more isolating and a little bit lonelier.
Right. I'm
not in this alone. And I think that when we're going through all of the pain and working through all of that, because it isn't easy. There's tears and it's dealing with issues so you can move past and live your best life. But we're not doing it alone. We're doing it with our coaches and our group calls and the forum, the social media forum that's protected and safe. And it just all works together. That's been huge for me.
Yes, that safety to get vulnerable and be in this community of people that is just gonna pour love at you.
Yes.
It's just vital. So I would love to hear you kind of describe the person or the identity that you had created for yourself before, and then have who is Jill really? Who is that person now? Can you do that?
Yes. The Jill before was full of anxiety, fear, and just lacking that self-worth and that self-love. The Jill today advocates for herself, has self-love, has more to give to others. I know today that I'm worthy, and I'm just as worthy as all of those people that are living their best life, I'm as worthy as Ella Majors is. Because when I looked at you, I wanted to be like you. You've been my coach and my mentor, and I wanted to have that. And I am so moving in that direction. I am shortly going to be leaving my current career and moving into my life's purpose. And I'm just doing it with such excitement. I don't feel paralyzed in fear, but I'm just excited about it. And that is the new me. And I just can't wait. I feel like my whole life has changed in ways I never dreamed would by going through this program. I started off just wanting to get off that scale and not having to count calories and not living a life of restriction. And while all those things I learned about and that did transpire and I'm away from, it was so much bigger than that. And now, in the words of Ella, you had said to me, your life is going to be changing in such big ways, you have no idea. Well, I'm experiencing it. And now I know what those words meant.
Yes. Yes, we talk about how you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yes, I didn't know what I didn't know.
And I have to say how grateful and thankful I am to you and everybody who takes that leap of faith, because that, I know that that's really a tough thing to do. And for me, you know, it's tough for me to even ask for that sort of trust from somebody that doesn't know me personally, that doesn't have a long-standing relationship with me. And, you know, everything we do here in the Empowered Vegan Life group and on the website and the blog and the trainings that I do, all of this is really, you know, in large part to help build some sort of a relationship, build some sort of trust with you guys in the Empowered Vegan Life group, so that you can, if this is the direction, that if this all resonates with you and you're like, oof, that is something that I want too, that you can feel confident that this is worthwhile, that this is truly is an investment that you want to make into yourself, because it is that life-changing. I mean, the value of it, you know, what you get back out of it. And if you had to put kind of a value on what you've gotten out of it and what this means for the rest of your life, Jill, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can't put a dollar value on it because it's so much bigger than that. I've gotten back tenfold. I mean, 10 times, 20 times, 50 times more than I financially invested, because I know I've got myself back. Now I'm not stomping out feelings. I'm paying attention to everything, and I'm aware of who I am, and I'm in touch with what my needs are. And I'm not living a restricted life, and I don't have limiting beliefs. When you don't feel good enough, you have limiting beliefs, and that affects everything. So people don't know what they're missing until they have experienced it. But trust me, if there's anybody that's hedging and they want a different life, and they don't want to live that life of restriction and limiting beliefs, this program can get you there if you do the work.
Yes, that is correct. And one thing I forget to mention sometimes, Jill, is most people come into this process really focused on, okay, you know, I really want to lose weight. I know dieting hasn't worked in the past. Some people are already vegan, but you know, they're self-sabotaging. Other people are wanting to transition to vegan. What would you say to someone who's like, well, what about the food? Hello, like, why aren't we talking about food? What would you, and weight loss, what would you say to those people?
So I would say this: when you learn to love yourself and you deal with what's really going on behind the food, that resolves itself. I eat whenever I want. I choose to listen to my body. I do not count calories. I listen and pay attention. And because I have self-love today, I put good things in there. I'm not really tempted by the bad things. And it's a self-love thing that just unfolds before your eyes, and you just don't even know how in the world it happened. It's crazy. And my weight is normal, but I learned before I even considered the scale and the calorie counting and all that, you in this program teach us to love ourselves right where we are by doing the work in this program. And once you begin to love yourself and you do the work, the scale goes away. The calorie counting goes away. The being hungry and not feeding your body, you learn to trust your body and you feed it what it needs. And that's different for everybody. So there's not a cookie cutter diet plan or a specific weight that you need to be along with everybody else. It's what your individual body needs. And that took such pressure off me, Ella, when I learned that, because I can just be Jill in my own unique self and love Jill right where she is.
Oh, it's so refreshing, isn't it? Just so refreshing.
It's free. It's like a weight has been lifted and I don't have to obsess about food. It was an obsession and a restriction and just a constant concern. And now it isn't.
Yes. And I know this, and I created this because that's the process I went through. And I was there for the majority of my adult life up until just a few years ago. And that freedom, when I got that freedom, you feel it, Jill. It's like you want to spread that sense of freedom and love and abundance to everybody around you.
With everyone, because they don't know there's a different way. They are still putting Band-Aids on and they're not dealing with the why and the what and the who, all of that inside. That's when you really get to the root of what's going on, because food is just, it's a Band-Aid for comfort.
Jill, you blow me away. You just blow me away every day.
Well, your program blows me away. And I want this program for everybody that is struggling with all of those things, because there is a better way for them to live a happier, freeing, more healthy life than putting on the Band-Aids and the cycle and the struggles. You know, I did it too. And people say, but you're pretty fit and you're thin. Why are you in this program? Because I lived a life of restriction and I was bound by the scale and the calories and starving myself and all of that. And today I get to eat when I'm hungry.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yes. And I'm just, you know, it's healthier. It feeds your body. It feeds your mind. It just takes so much stress and tension out of your body when you're listening to what you specifically need, and you're not trying to fit some plan that some trainer or some program has dictated that you need to follow, because it just never worked for me.
Right. And it's, you know what, we have such a variety of body types in our group. There are people that have had eating disorders and have been underweight. There are people that are overweight. There are people with all different that are healthy. There are people that are struggling with illness. You know, we've got such, but it's not about, because it's not about the food, none of that matters, because we have to work on the inside and the rest will take care of itself. So, you know, I don't want people to think that you have to be one way or the other. It's about that feeling that we're all going for, that happy, that healthy, that meaningful, purposeful life where we can get to the end of it, be on our deathbeds and say, you know what? I did my thing. You know, I gave it my all. I put myself out there and I am satisfied with my life and what I've done and contributed to this world. And it sounds like you are just making these leaps and bounds in that direction, Jill, and I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much for all your support and everyone in this program, because I'm going to leave this world having no regrets. And I couldn't say that 6 months ago.
Amazing. Amazing.
Happy dance.
Yes, we do a lot of happy dances, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Lots of celebrations as you go through this program. That's the fun part.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to wrap it up. That was so powerful. I thank you so much once again, Jill, for being on. You know, for anyone watching, Valerie said, agree with everything you have said, Jill. Thank you.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. For everyone watching, I'm going to put a couple links here. You know, there are a couple steps that everybody who enters the program has gone through. One is watching the masterclass, which I'm offering for free right now. It's a very powerful class. It will help you kind of understand our philosophies, and it'll speak to you. If you watch that and you say, oh, wow, she is speaking to me, then you know that this could be a life changer for you. And if that's the case, then the next step is to book a breakthrough session. And I'm doing these temporarily myself. It's something that, you know, it's important for me to, right now I'm handpicking every single person that we bring in, because we have created this remarkable group. I mean, it is so amazing and supportive and loving and courageous, and people getting vulnerable and sharing, and that's what we need. So it's important that I really, we'll talk for 45 minutes, sometimes longer, to make sure that this is something that's right for you. So this is not a call about, here, let's get you in the program. This is to see maybe if it's even right. If it's right, then we'll go in to talk about it. If it's not right, I'm going to let you know and do my best to point you in a different direction that might be more helpful, so that we can make a difference in the lives of the people that we can help. And that's the goal. That's what we're doing here. So yeah. I'll put those links in, and yeah, we got some new more Facebook Lives coming up with some more of our incredible members. And that'll wrap it up for today. Again, Jill, thank you once again. Thank you everyone else for joining us. Svetlana says happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Svetlana. Thanks for being here, Corey, and everyone else watching later. Jill, enjoy the rest of your day.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.
Namaste to you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.